let me just double check. Yeah, looks so. Please just be careful. I think what probably happened is somebody was muting themselves and they've accidentally muted me. But if I do suddenly get muted, do shout. Okay. Right. So I'm going to go from the beginning again. Okay. So the lesson's starting now. So what we're doing here today, we are using averages and ranges, which we've seen before, but we're using them now to sort of properly compare two sets of data. Okay. Now, when you're asked to compare two sets of information, you always need to do two things. You make one comment on the mean average. All right. So, can you hear me now? Right. I'm going to start again.
Sir, we can hear you now. We can hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but whoever keeps unmuting me, can they stop, please? All right, that's annoying. Right, so starting again. Okay, so averages and ranges, we've done them both before. So averages, you've got the mean, median, and mode. We're going to be looking just at the mean average today. Now, to remember to work out the mean average, that's when you add all the numbers up and divide by the number of numbers. And the range is when you just take the biggest number and take away from that the smallest number. Okay, biggest take away smallest. So when you're asked to compare data, you always do two things. You make one comment about the mean average, and you make one comment on the range, which is the biggest take away the smallest. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do this quickly because some of you have just been looking at this for a long time now. The example we did in class in the past, we had these two different batsmen, and we wanted to compare them. Now, when we worked out the mean averages, so we added up the 4 scores and divided by the 4 times they batted, for both these batsmen, they got a mean average of 50. So they're both as good as each other. But the difference came when we worked out the range. Now, remember, the range is the biggest take away the smallest. 98 take away 2 is 96. 55 take away 45 is 10. Okay? So what we were saying is, whilst they're both as good as each other, they've both got the same mean average, batsman 1 is much less consistent. Okay, on his good days he's very good, but on his bad days he's pretty poor. Whereas batsman number 2 has got the much smaller range. His range is only 10, so that means he's a much more consistent batsman. Now, you can't say whether one's better than the other, just what type of batsman you want to have in your team. If you want somebody who's going to get you big runs, but on other occasions he misses out, you want batsman number 1. If you want someone really steady, you're going to go for batsman number 2. So the chances are, in a real world situation, you'd have a mixture of both types of batsmen. So you've seen that example before. So the one example I want you guys to have a think about is this one here. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got, I want you to imagine we've got 3 small classes of maths students. Okay, only 4 kids in each class, just to keep the numbers simple. So here's class 1, there's class 2, and there's class 3. And then what we've gone and done, we've gone and worked out the mean average for each of the 3 classes. So 40, 20, and 90. And then we've also worked out the ranges. And it's a simple example, but it just kind of make the point of what we're doing today. I want you all to spend about 30 seconds just trying to figure out which of class 1, class 2, and class 3, which one do you think is probably a top set, which is a bottom set, and which is a set with mixed ability kids in it, so it's not setted at all. So can you all just have a bit of a think about it? Looking at that information for the 3 classes, which one is a top set, which one's a bottom set, and which one is an example of a set with mixed abilities. So I'm just going to go quiet for a few seconds while you just think about that, please. Okay, so would somebody like to just unmute themselves, just say who they are, and just talk me through which you think is which, please. Okay, nobody's going to do that, or I can't hear anyone. Never mind, I'll talk you through. So basically, we're saying class 3, very high average score. They're all good, so the range is quite small. That's going to be your top set. Okay, and then this one here, well, they're not great. You know, their mean average was only 20, so that's an example of a bottom set. So that's class B. Now the top one's the interesting one. Okay, so the mean was only 40. All right, so pretty low, but the range was huge, meaning some got some very big scores, some got some really low scores. So that would be an example of a set with mixed abilities. So that's really sort of covering the basic stuff, what we're looking at today. And I don't know if you've seen the instructions that have come through from Mr. Morton and Mr. Smith. The idea is now, with all the lessons we have, that you have 5-10 minutes worth to sort of chat with the teacher at the beginning of a lesson, and then really the actual worksheet probably only takes about 25 minutes, okay? Because we appreciate it takes time for you to load it up onto Teams and all this sort of stuff. So the worksheet should not take you too long. So this is the worksheet which you will find that you can just download from Show My Homework, okay? Now, what the new thing that we're doing now that we've discovered we're able to do, and it's going to make it a lot easier to put things onto Teams, is this. So I've used Alex's as an example because he was just the first person on my list of pupils. So what you will see, if you go and click on Homeworks now, that you've got a worksheet waiting you for there already. It's already there because I've uploaded it through what's called assignments. So if you go and click on your Teams and go Homework, you will see that you've got the page 17.2 comparing data there already. Okay. Now, some of you will got quite familiar with this last term, some of you didn't. So this might be the first time you've seen that. So make sure you can get onto that. Now, when you go and click on the page, okay, you'll see that I've gone and put a little yellow box underneath where I've uploaded the worksheet. And as I said earlier on, that's just an example of the worksheet there. The one you can download, you can just download that off Show My Homework. Okay. Now, once you've gone and done your answers, okay, you can either take pictures of it and just sort of upload it via the pictures option, or some of you might be scanning your work and then uploading it through the file option. Now, to get either of these two options to work, you've got to go and click on this box first. So make sure you click on this box. That's when these options become viable. Now, if you're going down the file route, so you're going to upload your work sort of down the scanning route, you must please take the insert file printout option, because that will mean when it comes and loads up here, I can actually just mark it on the screen, which will be great. And because I've gone and loaded it all up through assignments, it's much easier for me to now start giving you grades and give you marks and keep an eye on the marks. So once we all get familiar with this, this should be pretty good, I hope. Okay, so really half the battle today, I don't think the work will take you ages. It's just you getting used to being trying to upload your work. Okay, so give it your best shot, and obviously either through Teams or through email if you can't. Do feel free just to let me know, if you're struggling to do this. Okay, so that's it. Those are the answers which I want to share with you another day. So in short, what we're saying today, quite a small little topic today, because the biggest objective today is just to make sure you're all managing to get to the lesson, that you're, if you can't follow it live, that you're finding where it is on Teams or on YouTube. And so after the video stops, it would be great if you then just go and download the worksheet off Show My Homework. Okay, or if you can't do that, you can just go and look and just find this sheet on Teams and just sort of write the answers onto a sheet of paper. Either take a photo of that or scan it, or whatever you're going to be doing to get the work back to me. All right, so that's it from me. So I'm going to leave you there, and first thing I'm going to do is just to go. I'll log out, and then I'll log out, and then I'll stop the recording, and then I want you to just go and do the work now if you can. That would be great.